What's up, traders? Chris Drysdale here, bringing you a video today on something that I am sure you're probably struggling with or have been struggling with, just because I know I have been for a long time as well. And until I fully understood the process of how to best execute at a level I'm watching and where to get in, when to get not, how to manage my risk, etc., when I really fully understood the process behind that and the dynamics taking place at an inflection point in the market or a particular price level or area, I couldn't understand why it kept getting chopped up and stopped out, and it would ultimately go in my direction. So I'm going to talk a little bit today about execution, confirmation, acceptance, time acceptance, and things of that nature to help you better understand what's taking place at a specific level and how to be more patient with the setup and wait for confirmation to get in the particular direction and have the trade work for you. So I'm excited about this video. I really hope it helps you guys internalize what I'm going to talk about today and apply it to your trading. So here we go. We're going to drive right into the charts here. Okay. So here's one of my typical charts. If you're not familiar with any of my videos, I'm going to go over real quickly what you're looking at on the left side here. So this is oil. On the left side is a higher time frame with weekly VWAP and a one standard deviation band to the top and bottom. I consider this shaded area balance or value. Anything above it is imbalance and price discovery. So I expect it to go in the direction of price discovery above or below, and then I expect to chop around in value between the upper band, VWAP, and lower band. On the right side is a lower time frame. Typically I use a 1 minute or 2 minute. Same idea here, but this is session VWAP. So session VWAP starts usually the night before, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the open of the Globex. On the left, the weekly VWAP obviously starts at the beginning of the week, Sunday evening, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same principles apply. If we're in balance, the shaded area, I expect us to trade in this area, kind of choppy like, fading upper extreme value, and the same fading lower value extremes back to VWAP, and etc. If we break above and hold above, I'm expecting price discovery to the long side or below to the short side. The second indicator I have on here is initial balance. Initial balance is the first hour of trading. For the indices, it's 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We take the first hour of trading, the high and the low, and that's our initial balance. Okay, this also acts as balance area or value area. Trade in between here in balance, and then price discovery to the top or the bottom. I look for confluence in all of these areas in my trades. I have a couple of videos on all of this in much more detail. I encourage you to watch them. They're on a playlist in my my YouTube channel. You could also check out our Discord, which is absolutely free, in the description below. Please click on that link, join us, and you'll find out much more about this strategy in detail. But today, this video is about execution. So we're going to talk about once we get to our level and we have our decided idea of what we want to do. So for example, we get to initial balance high. My idea is I want to fade it for a return to, IB mid or point of control. My idea is to short. How do I execute on that? So the simplest thought for most traders is, well, as we get to this price level, I'll set an alert. And as soon as we hit this level, right here, IB high on NQ, I'm just going to short it, right? So price is coming up to here. We hit the level. I hit the sell market, and ideally we go like this, right? So that is like a perfect situation. I might even have a limit sell order here. So we're coming up to the order, it hits my sell order, and we go south, hit the level to the tick. And you know what? That happens sometimes. It happened here, NQ doesn't always like to hit levels to the tick, but we'll often see, things being hit to the tick on the strategy, natural gas right here. VWAP to the tick, initial balance low to the tick, going back, within a couple of ticks, value area high, shorting VWAP to the tick, both areas. So it happens quite a bit. The problem is that it generally, very often, does not hit it to the tick. There are about 8 or more situations that you'll encounter when we get to a specific level, price level or area, that is not to the tick, So if I'm shorting here, this is the ideal scenario, but what happens when price does this? Right? We see that a lot. How about this? Right? I would have been in money by, just a couple of ticks before it broke and ran against me. Right? Hopefully I had to stop here, but I'm getting chopped up. How about this? Break above, chop, 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 down. Right? Or how about break above, chop, 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 doesn't hit my stop, up. Or how about break through, immediately, come back, confirms, and up. How about hit the level, chop, 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 down. Or come up, hit the level, chop, 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 break. Right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 scenarios that are extremely common when it comes to trading a price level. Okay? The only one that's going to be super pleasant for us is this one scenario out of 8. Many happen, though. I'm just seeing another to the tick right here, right? So that's another beautiful to the tick value area high on the session, right? So how do we trade the rest of this, right? Because many of these scenarios are just as common as this first scenario, right? So what we want to talk about a little bit is price acceptance and patience, okay? And this kind of plays into the principles of the strategy a little bit. But one good example here I will talk about is breaking out of value, okay? So obviously this would have been a terrible long, it broke right through IB low, IB value area low on the session, right? Chopped a little bit down here and then just reclaimed it, right? And went up above. So that was one of our typical price scenarios, right? So that would be, it's not even here. This would be this one right here. It's the inverse, it's to the long side, but that's that scenario. So instead of just putting my order here or waiting for it to come close to it and then just hit the buy button, right? I got to be patient, all right? This is a 2-minute chart. Let's break it down to the 1-minute chart. Okay, and let's look at this price action a little closer here, right? So as we come down to this level, now we've been trading in balance all morning, right? So my conviction on this setup is long. This is actually a great setup to the long side. We've been holding balance, both on value area low, right? We're approaching value area high on the week, so this is a nice support level, okay? It actually broke it and reclaimed it. So, I love this for a long, that's not what happened. It broke right through it and tanked much, much lower, okay? So if my bias were to switch to a short, what I'd like to see for confirmation would be to wait for it to break through my level, come back up, test it, and then go down for the short, okay? It kind of did that. It didn't come up to our level, but once we saw the tape change a little bit and we started going lower, this is a short all day to the downside with a stop over this high. Once we started breaking down here, target area maybe new lows, or further, and then put my stop at break even once I'm in the money a little bit. So what turned into a long turned, if I were to be patient and see the action, which would have been a much better short. Now this didn't turn into a big move, but you could have gotten a little scalp here, or at least a scratch. But the new opportunity, say you still don't like the short, right? I'm going to wait for confirmation, of the re-break. Okay, so now when I talk about acceptance, when we break into a new area, so now we're out of value, we're in price discovery, we want to see prices be accepted over time. Okay, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 10 minutes of acceptance here before the rejection. Just because we broke into out of value, right? And theoretically, based on our principles, once we break into out of value, we want to start seeing lower prices. What we're seeing here is a rejection of the breakout. Now, it took 10 minutes plus to play out because we traded down here a little bit. We couldn't break new areas. We tried, and then we reclaimed the value area. So this becomes a long once we break into value, an IB low, right? We have the new breakout, but we're not going to trade the breakout. We're going to wait for the pullback, right? Which we got, and then we could take another long here to the upside. Now this is some choppy action. You can take some good scalps in here. Obviously we're not getting the big move, but being patient and waiting for things to play out and letting the market tell us what's happening, what's being accepted and what's being rejected. So the break below, holding below, breaking out of value, rejecting, coming back up to IB low, holding again. I'm getting a lot more conviction for another short, right? And that's when we ultimately got the nice move down. Okay, so we are mostly holding prices out of value under IB low. We did break in again here a little bit. We could have gotten a scalp, gotten out. Now, once we're breaking here again, trading in this range, as we hold this, I could look for the next move down, put a stop right here above IB, and look for that next big move down, which we finally got, right? We're bearish, right? Breaking into value area on the week. And, so we got to stop as traders just waiting for an immediate reaction at a price level. We need to let the story pan out, okay? This stuff happens a lot on NQ, and you can break this down to even smaller time frames, on NQ to the 15-second chart and really scalp this. But, NQ came right down to value area low, rejected, found support. We chopped here for a little bit, so taking longs off the confirmation. So the reclaim of IB low, breaking below, breaking above, chop, 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 taking the longs up here to the upside. We have eventually broke, but we know if we break out of here, this trade is no good anymore. This could be a short, scalp to the downside a little bit. We found support multiple times. Resistance multiple times at the IB low. And then what happened here? We reclaimed IB low after it tested it 1, 2 times. What about time acceptance? Look how little time we spent down here, right? We are rejecting out of price discovery. We want to go back into balance. And we got the breakthrough finally back into initial balance. We got the retest confirmation. And then we had this beautiful long off of IB low, right? So when we get to our levels, we have to be patient. We have to let the story pan out. And it doesn't pan out over one bar on the 1 minute. It pans out over 5, 10, 15, 20 bars on the 1 minute. Less if you're trading 2 minute or the 5 minute, right? We have to let the story pan out. We have to stop trading this pattern. Yes, that feels good when you're right. It hits our level, bounces off to the tick. But again, that's one of 8 scenarios that we're going to encounter. And the probabilities are not favorable when we probabilities are not favorable when all we're trying to trade is this 1 out of 8 scenario. We're going to get chopped out a lot. We're going to take a lot of stop losses, and if we're scalping, we're probably going to experience bigger losses than winners, and it's just going to be very frustrating. So essentially, we want to wait for confirmation. We want to wait for time acceptance. We want to spend some time trading above or below our key area before we pick a direction. I know it feels good, guys, to catch these to the tick, right? But ultimately, that's a losing proposition because that's only going to happen if you're lucky, 20% of the time. Oftentimes you're going to get chopped up and stopped out. You have to let it play out. Let the narrative play out. Who's winning the battle? Where are prices holding? Are they holding above or below my level? Look at these wicks. That's nice confirmation to start taking some longs if we come back to this level, right? And we got that. Look how it dumped right through here, and over the course of 2 minutes, we really couldn't get above it. We went lower, right? So this was not a good long. As we broke below it, we come back here for the confirmation on value area low. It busted right through it, but look, we got a little test short off of IB low before it found support again and went long. All right, so we have to let these stories pan out to be able to catch the meat of the move. Okay. You'll get more opportunities, obviously, if you're trading in NQ. In our Discord, we trade a lot of symbols: oil, natural gas, gold, the other indices, ES, the Dow, the Russell. So, as these narratives play out on a session, right? So we broke above value area high. We spent some time chopping around a little bit before we went long. Came right back, still found support, went long again, found support, and then we finally got that big move up. All right? So the narrative here, if I let it play out and I'm patient, is that we broke above. We're now out of balance. Market is in balance. We're in price discovery. Okay? What would I love? I'd love to break out of balance and just go straight up. But that's not what happens. Especially if I'm a day trader and I'm watching every little move, every tick. We did keep support here though. We never broke below it again for the next, half hour. That gives me a lot of conviction that we can probably catch a nice long to the upside, right? Which we ultimately got. All right, so hopefully that helped you guys with the narrative, being patient, letting these levels establish themselves, not taking entries directly off of levels, watching things play out, being patient, letting the market tell us where price is being accepted and where the bias is going to be, long or short. Are we staying in balance? Like right here, are we holding out of balance? Are we holding in value? These are very crucial areas. We have to let the narrative play out, be patient before we pick our trade, right? So hopefully this helped you guys. Really understanding this and internalizing this really helped me, and I hope it helps you. I encourage you to subscribe to the channel if you're not following us already. Please like this video if it helped you out. Join us in our Discord. Link is in the bottom. A lot more information on things like this, and we're streaming every morning with this strategy. So hope to see you in the room, guys. Good luck trading. Stay safe out there.